This episode is brought to you by Sir Charles Hard Cider, which is proudly brewed in Philadelphia by Original 13 Cider Works. Visit their tasting room on American Street to enjoy their ciders, as well as locally sourced food from their kitchen. Look for Sir Charles Hard Cider in local establishments and visit sircharlescider.com for more information.
The episode you're about to listen to was recorded live on November 18th at the Spaces Mixer. Like most live events, the audio here is slightly distorted and it does not reflect the quality of our usual podcasts. We want to give a special thank you to our photographer for the event, Noble Arts. That's Noble Arts with a Z, and you can find Noble Arts on Facebook and Instagram. If you like what you're listening to and you would like to support Spaces Production, please go to www.spacesproductions.com/support. And there you can find 3 different ways that you can help support the network. Now on to the show.
The Both Sides Podcast.
So my name is Gloria, a.k.a. Gigi, and I'm one of the co-hosts for the Both Sides Podcast.
What's up, guys? My name's Chima. Obviously, the other co-host for the Both Sides Podcast. Mm-hmm. We started this podcast, what was it, more than 10 weeks ago now, because we just hit our 10th episode. But the whole podcast thing it's kind of stemmed for probably a couple years now. I'm big on talking shit. I talk shit all the time. You see my, you know how you click on the details portion of your iPhone and you see all the pictures? That's me, bro. My shit is packed. So I always wanted to have like a nice medium to just say what I wanted to say, but I'm very lazy, extremely lazy. I did not want to go ahead and start the podcast. So Gloria here, best friend since our Temple days, 09. Shout out to you. And she linked up with Darko, who linked up with Mark, and here we are now. Both Sides Podcast, I guess the name came from us being born in America, but also of African descent. So I can switch my accents when I want to switch my accents, but I can also talk like an American when I need to talk like an American. It's just that whole communication thing. So that's just how I am.
I don't have an accent because I was born in the Bronx, and so I just have a New York accent. That's it. So I don't have no switch off, switch on. This is me.
I don't know. I don't. Me, it's a little because when I'm home, it's a straight Nigerian accent. Everything I do is it's just. Even people that follow me on Twitter, sometimes I tweet in Pidgin English, which is like it's almost like patois, I guess, but it's just more so broken English for Africans. So I'm just big on Africa in general. My music, my playlist, straight Afro beats and stuff like that. But at the end of it, we just wanted to create a platform where we could talk about anything as it relates to both sides, being male, female, African, being American, born here, and things like that. So, yeah, pretty much where it is. We had, I guess during this whole thing, we had to create like a topic to come up with you guys with. And for the past 2 weeks, we were trying to figure out what to say. Sometimes we kind of delve into topics that may be a little too deep that, 20 minutes can't really cover. Or we maybe have a topic that 20 minutes is too long of a time. But last night we started talking, and for some reason we came up to a topic of how to be honest with your friends. Show of hands here. Who has friends that are in here right now?
Right.
Okay. Yes. Who's your close friend here in here?
Oh, don't make me choose.
Choose.
I'll choose Daryl because I feel like he will stand whatever you're about to say.
All right. Daryl, how honest is she with you?
100%. Well, I mean, I feel like it's 100%.
You feel like it's 100%? All right, cool.
I mean, I can ask any question and get an answer, so.
Okay. The reason why we say that was because we were talking about being presentable and leaving your home, like how.
And so basically, Chima stated that he was not an honest person. I told him if he would tell me if I look crazy leaving the house, and he said no because he felt like it wasn't his place to say anything. So.
No. The reason why I say that is because with friends, she's my best friend, right? But at the same time, you still have to create boundaries for each other. There's certain things you can't say. You can't use the whole best friend excuse as a reason to just say whatever is on your mind. So in this case, we're talking about, let's say, wigs and stuff like that, right? If she came out the house looking like her wig was kind of a little pushed back, not in the right spot, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable saying, yo.
Isn't it his job? And that's what I was trying to tell him, because I felt like I would be able to tell you anything, And he said that you have to create boundaries. It's not his place to say anything. So I wanted to get a gauge on how people operate within their friendships, if they tell each other if they look crazy or anything like that, or if they say it's not their place.
It's not that. It's not that. I think you have to open that door to let me in, right? So, for example, it's like, if you ask me, Chima, how do I look? Then I'm inclined to say, dog, you ugly as shit, or your shit is kind of whack, right? But I can't come out the gate saying, yo, what the fuck is going on with your wig, right? I can't. You have to let me in. I don't know, maybe that's just me being kind of the respectful person I am, in a sense, but I feel like you have to let me in. So, in this case, she asked me the same thing, like, how would you, I asked her, so would you feel comfortable telling me that, obviously I'm bald, your hair is whack and all that. So, and I gave her this explanation. If I was going to a function, say for example here, my hair was woofing, and on the regular my hair is bald, like I'm bald, right? So bald, hit the barber, beard is on point, Dare, you feel me, right? Sometimes you hit the barber, beard is on, it's lit, right? So, you hit the barber and everything, that, boom, you popping walking out the house, right? But I leave my house out of my norm, hairline all over the place. If she tells me that, yo, Chima, your hair is looking kind of crazy, I know for a fact that my hair is looking crazy because it's not the norm. Now, in her case, the reason why I feel like I can't come up to her and tell her that is because we all know that it takes time for women to do the makeup. My girlfriend lives in Canada, right?
Right.
Well, excuse me, Darko.
The makeup thing is a little sensitive to me.
Why? Why is this sensitive to you?
It just takes don't do it.
So the reason I was saying that is because my girlfriend, I wake her up, if we have to go somewhere, probably a good 3 hours before we have to go, okay? I wake up a good 3 hours before we have to go. 30 minutes for her to say, I don't feel like waking up right now. The other 2.5 hours, shower, come through, beat the face, hit the woo, hit the Fenty, the trophy wife, do all that stuff, right? Listen, I'll be knowing, hit all that. And by the time she's done, she puts on the wig, and she's ready to go. So in her mind, she's put in all this time to look presentable, right? Mm-hmm. I can't come out the blue and say, sweetheart. I won't even say her. No, I won't say her. Her. She's different. I might tell her because she's kind of like a representation of me. We get into that, right? we get into that. But in terms of Gloria here, listen. In terms of Gloria, right? I won't say she's not a representation of me, but it's a different thing where, I know my girlfriend is like, yo, when she walks out the house and people know that, yo, that's Chima, everything that she does is going to be like, yo, Chima, I saw your girl doing this. Chima, I saw your girl doing that. As opposed to Gloria, if she walks out, it's like, yo, Gloria was doing this. I don't know if y'all feel me. Y'all feel me, kind of? No? Well, fuck it. Y'all going to feel me about that shit. But if she does, she takes the time to do her makeup, bakes the face, does all that, puts the wig on, and I feel like it's not where it needs to be. I personally can't do it. Now you guys can tell me about wrong.
So would you guys tell your friends if they look crazy? You would, right? Regardless of the relationship.
No. That's it. Fellas, would you tell your female friends if they look crazy? No. Exactly.
You would. No, you would.
It's
a what? Right, but isn't that messed up? Because I would tell him if he looked crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm trying to get over. Lately I've been really introspective, right? I've been really introspective, trying to work on my misogyny, get that worked out, pushed that out of my system, right? Now understand that there's still kind of remnants in there, but understand that I'm an active participant in working to get that out. But I can't just tell her that because I just feel out of place. It's coming from a great place, right. Trust me.
Exactly. Thank you.
But the reason I kind of come out of my, how do I explain this? I say things based on experience, right? If I, no, listen, I say things, if I've said, yo, in the past, I don't really like, how your hair looks right now. It's looking kind of crazy. Your response would say, nobody give a fuck about your opinion anyway. Yes? No? Oh, listen. But and it's like, nobody asked him anyway. So I can't come out the woodwork saying that, yo, your wig's not right or your makeup's not blended correctly. I can't do that. Now, as a guy, that's cool. I can tell you because I feel like I know when I'm not going to get there. It's all good, though. I just feel like I just can't come out the wood. So we had this whole argument for the past, 3 hours last night?
It wasn't 3 hours. It was like 20 minutes. What? But I felt like as a friend, regardless of gender or whatever, like you should be able to tell your friend if they look crazy, right? Like I have no problem telling him if he look crazy, if you gained a little weight, if you need to go get your hair done. You know what I'm saying? If you need to go see the barber. But for him, he felt like it would be an issue if he told me that I look crazy. So I just kind of wanted to get a pulse on the crowd and see if you guys have an issue telling your friends if they look crazy or not.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
If you want to. Okay. I said we can invite people to come up on a mic and talk to them.
Okay. Does anyone want to share their experience, or have you guys ever had an experience where you try to be honest with your friends and it backfired?
Anybody here? Nobody? Nobody here had... go ahead, come on. Nobody had an experience. Okay.
Rhythm King, everybody. Rhythm King.
So I don't know if this counts because this wasn't an experience of like, oh, you look such and such or you should do X, Y, Z. But I had one experience of, I guess, being involved in a group of people that told a friend that their partner was cheating. And that backfired severely, so I don't do that anymore.
I need to get into that.
I guess I should also say I haven't had an explicit situation where it was clear like that I have to make a decision about whether or not I need to tell this person. But my feeling connected to it is I hope I'm never put in that situation again because I think I'm not going to tell the person because it just backfired so badly. Like, the friend got mad at all of us and stayed with the person, and it was bad.
No, I got a follow-up question to that, actually. No, keep on the mic. Would you... So if you saw a friend of yours, like you saw her man out there, in the club, hugging on this joint and, doing what he shouldn't have been doing, do you hate sis your friend or, like, I'm coming to as your woman type friend or the what?
I'll say that... And this just feels more hurtful to me. But if I did it again, I would have proof. Like, I would have pictures. So, like, if I see you in the club with so-and-so, then I'm taking pictures. And then I'm just giving the pictures to the friend and say, do with this what you will.
But see, in the club, it's hard to take pictures, though, because that flash is like...
Oh, you haven't met me. Or I'll take your picture in the club. Or just walk up to them and like, oh, y'all, let's take a selfie. And then like, so now you know you caught and I'm sending a picture.
So now you're going to take a selfie with a third chick in the other chick in the picture?
Because I feel like that's a good opportunity to expose that person because maybe the third person that they're with didn't even know that they were cheating.
From what I heard...
So let's just ruin everything.
But listen, from what I heard from my friends, they wouldn't take a picture with you with the other chick in there. So I don't know how you would kind of finesse that.
Well, like I said, I hope it doesn't happen to me again.
That's good, though.
But I'm snitching. That's the moral of the story.
So would anybody else snitch on their friends if they caught them out there cheating? Or would you guys say it's none of your business?
Would you?
Yeah, would you? No, because some people, like she said, like some people feel like it's going to backfire on them and they don't want to get involved, basically. Oh, that's true. No, I agree. But some people, they're like, oh, it's not really none of my business. Like sometimes the friend turns on them anyway. So do you feel like it's worth bringing it up? Yes, every time? Oh, I guess Chima disagrees.
Listen, I don't disagree, right? But I think I'm really where you are, where you kind of have to have the proof. Because if you come empty, I heard no. You said
Who
no?
said no? Yeah.
So that's so lovely, man. That's beautiful.
So you wouldn't go to your friend with proof or anything. You would just be like, I saw your girl in the club like wilding out or something. Yeah. I agree.
I feel like in theory, it's so easy to say that, right? Where, yes, they will definitely believe that that person is cheating, or they will believe you. But the game is different when it comes to the opposite sex, man. When you have somebody that you're actually really invested in, you feel like this person is your partner, the yams is popping, just like, said, Mark. And, it kind of messes up with your thinking, because then you start to think, is this boy really just trying to, I don't know. Maybe it's just my experiences, man. Let me stop. I'm giving too much.
I feel like as a friend, like if you do see your friend's partner doing something that's really trifling, like I would hope you would say something to them, regardless if you had like concrete proof or not. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it would look worse if I knew something and I didn't say anything, and then it came out later. Yeah.
But that's true. That's very true. But what I would say is, bro, you sure you ain't trying to date this joint? That's just how I would put it, because I don't want to be in a situation where like, I just can't do it.
So you wouldn't tell your friend if they were in a situation?
It's really situational. It's really situational, because I feel like we kind of paint, even though we should paint, I guess the canvas with a broad brush? What's that saying? Something like that? Exactly. I'm trying to be intellectual for y'all, but even though we should, I feel like sometimes when it does deal with the opposite sex, there is some kind of, I don't feel like he's telling the truth, or he's definitely, he has some kind of ulterior motive, or he's coming from a different angle to try to get something. Maybe it's just the people I've been dealing with in my life, but it's really hard for me to just come out and say, yo, Doug, I saw so-and-so doing X, Y, and Z.
Then I feel like that makes you look flaky. Because if it came out later on that you knew something, you didn't say anything, then wouldn't you look like... Yeah.
As someone who's been on the other end of this situation,
Okay.
I think it's definitely better to tell the person. Because I was in a situation where a lot of people, my partner was cheating on me, and a lot of people knew, and none of them told me until like it had become like something had dropped into somebody decided to tell me. There was a bunch of people who knew and did not tell me, and then when I found out that all of these people knew, no one said anything to me. It was definitely like, oh, so I wasn't loved or cared about enough.
Right.
I feel like it's levels to, like, if you're an associate that I kind of know and I see a person doing something, we're not that close, so like you're not gonna feel the type of way about whether I know or not, because we're not that close. But if you're somebody who's supposed to be so close to me, supposed to be my best, supposed to be somebody who's looking out for me and protect me, you don't tell me something foul like that,
Right.
then you're not my friend.
Yeah.
And I think that if you think that your friend would not believe you if you said some stuff like that, then that's how she did. Clearly, y'all
No, your friends, right.
That's very true. Now, I want to follow up on that. Now, you say you were in that position where you had this happen to you. Now, do you still talk to those people who didn't tell you? Did you cut them off? What did you do after that?
I think I had to readjust where they were. That's what I did. I just repositioned. Like, you treated me like an associate, so I'm gonna move you into an associate realm, not out of that.
Okay. My question, I guess, to the fellas in the room. Now, let's kind of put a twist to the situation, right? You're in a position where you're not being faithful. You're doing a little dirt. You may not have, had sex with this other person, or I guess whatever the cheating standard is, right? But you were in a position where if your significant other found out, your significant other found out, she wouldn't be pleased with that. Then you see, actually, no, let me take that back. The person that I'm sorry. I'm just going to use both of you for example here, okay? So you saw his girl saw you in a position where you shouldn't have been, right? Yes. Saw you in a position where you shouldn't have been. And later on, you saw her in a position where she shouldn't have been. Do you still tell him? You still... And bear in mind, you're in a relationship, by the way. Okay. Okay.
I hear that.
That's dope.
So Chima basically would not say anything.
Stop.
That's basically what I'm getting
fake
from
news,
it.
man. Stop it. I would tell, by the way. I was just kind of gauging. I was playing devil's advocate the whole time. So, guys, just like Mark said, we are one of the first podcasts on the network. You can find us at Both Sides Podcast. 10 episodes in. Last episode was kind of heavy. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'll just say you guys go find out and kind of, hit us up on our Twitter, Ask Both Sides. You can find me on Twitter at my last name, Anukuru, but it's ONVKWVRV. I know it's kind of weird, all consonants, and Instagram is the same thing. And Glory just...
my Instagram is my last name, which is go.bah, and then my Twitter is Noor Goddess. So you can find us there, and then our Twitter is Ask Both Sides. So if you guys do listen to the episode and you have any commentary, you can at us at Ask Both Sides, and then you can use that hashtag Ask Both Sides as well.
Thank you, guys.
All right, give it up for both sides. So we're going to take a real quick 5-minute break. You guys can go ahead and wet your whistle. And coming up next, Broke